Hello everyone, this is Darth once again. If you've seen my previous review of Cloak of Deception, you know what book I'm going to review next. This is Darth Maul Shadowhunter. This really was released after, about a year before Episode 2, and it pretty much explains, you don't really need to know, but it does help. It does explain how, the Jedi knew about the blockade on Naboo, and how Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi ended up there, but that's not explained until the very end of this book. So, if you're reading chronologically, this would probably be the last book you'll be reading before jumping into the Episode 1 novel or movie. So if you're one of those people that want to read everything in chronological order, this is something one of the last books you'll be reading. There is 2 short stories. I will not talk about them here because I don't believe they were in the original version of this book. I'm reviewing the content in Shadowhunter alone. As for the short stories, I'll talk about them at a different time. I'll probably do a video called reviewing short stories in Star Wars. Just give me my general thoughts. Anyway, as for the book itself, Lauren Pulvin, if you're familiar, if you've read the Coruscant Night novels and the Last Jedi series, is basically the father of Jax Pulvin, who in that series. So but it's not a prequel, not by any means, because this was released before the Coruscant Night books came about. They do mention his son in here, though. So if you're one of those fans of that series, they use that concept to expand upon it, along with his droid too. And what do I think of this book? I think it's a great story. I really think it is. Even Darth Maul is one of those mysterious characters you don't know much about, and at the time, before David Filoni basically fucking showed too much of him, Darth Maul was a really cool character in this book. And the very fact we saw very little of him was what made him good. That's what made him an interesting character. It wasn't until Star Wars Clone Wars where they fucking brought him back for no fucking reason. I'll keep my Clone Wars rant. I'll do that another day. But this story does dive into the culture of the Sith. It does reveal aspects of the Sith that weren't revealed at the time. You actually get to get into the minds of Darth Sidious and Darth Maul. And not to mention, as Matt Wilkins would say it, this has one of my favorite endings in the entire EU novels. Michael Reeves did a really good job with this novel. He really did. This novel kept me on the edge of my seat. It was kind of, you knew what was going to happen to the main characters when you read this book. You'll know they're gonna die by the end of it. You know this, but this book managed to turn them into good characters, and one book can actually do that. This goes to show you that you don't need a multiple book series to have a good character, and this book proves it. And Darth Maul doesn't really talk much, which that's good, because that's in character. Darth Maul, to me, is one of the most. He was a character that I think was underutilized in the prequel trilogy. And luckily, this is why I love the EU so much. It takes characters that there's very little about that you know about them, or you want to know what stuff they did before the events of the movie, and shows you it. Darth Maul is a badass in this book. What little stuff he does in here, it's pretty fucking awesome. If you're a Darth Maul fanboy and you want some Darth Maul stories, well, this story isn't completely about him. It's about Lauren Pulvin. So if you're one of those new canon folks who don't care about the EU, I wouldn't recommend this. If you're a continuity, I would recommend another Star Wars book if you're a fan of Darth Maul. Though if you don't care, you just want to read a good story, I highly recommend this book. I give this book about 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's great. Definitely something I would recommend any EU fan add into their collection. Whether you read the old canon and the new canon, if you read both, add this to your collection. It's a good book, a good story. It also leads to episode 1. I would recommend reading it. I really do. As for my next video, this is going to be the last of my videos I'll be recording, is the first book of the Han Solo trilogy. Stay tuned, everyone, and may the Force be with you.